Got your mind going?
Yeah, yeah. It's good. It's good to start at the beginning. Okay. So this is the time for anything, whatever you'd like to know or discuss or say. And we'll just, often we do this till 8:30, but since there's a few of us, we'll see if we last that long. We could, or we could end sooner. And when you make a comment or ask a question, because we have people, we're streaming live and we're saving this on YouTube, we need to use the microphone that Linda has. Don't be shy. Judith, give yourself the microphone.
I was struck by what you read, Shantideva's words about bodhicitta, and they were so beautiful, and I wondered if I might ask you if you could read them again.
Oh, yeah, of course. So, what were you struck about it? You said the beauty?
The poetry, and also the great certainty that bodhicitta has inestimable value.
Yeah.
That came up this morning when Lama Michael was teaching, and he talked with great faith and certainty about the incalculable benefit of bodhicitta. And I thought to myself, well, how do we know?
Yeah. How do you know?
He said something about having some confidence that your practice of bodhicitta is a benefit to all beings. And something about having some idea about why that would be. And so I guess that's the question.
Yeah, so how do you answer it? Let's start there. Why would it be? Why would bodhicitta be of value to all beings? What can you make out of that?
My understanding of bodhicitta is that it is a compassionate desire to achieve enlightenment for the sake of all beings. That it isn't necessarily the accomplishment of enlightenment as much as it is the desire to achieve that.
Oh, okay. Let's start there. So there's two kinds of bodhicitta. One is aspiring, which you just described. It's a desire. But there is actual accomplishing bodhicitta. So the way they describe them in the texts is that aspiring bodhicitta is like, I wish I could go to India someday. And accomplishing is you go buy a ticket, you get on the plane, and you go there. So aspiring is, I hope for this, I wish for this, I make aspirations for it. But accomplishing means, okay, tell me what the practices are, I'll do them. The 4 thoughts, oh, good, I'll do those. The 4 immeasurables, great, I'll do those. The 6 perfections, I'll do them. And it doesn't mean, and it's, I'll do them on all 3 levels of wisdom. I'll study them, I'll contemplate them, I'll meditate on them. So you see the difference between the aspiring and actually setting out. Now, then we have to back up and say, what's bodhicitta? So citta's mind, bodhi's awake. Right? Awake, fully awakened mind. And that kind of mind, what I've learned from my teachers, has many aspects, but they kind of, I won't want to say they divide them, because that's not accurate. Teach, again, of two aspects. You know, like there's two aspects, aspiring and accomplishing, actually setting out. But these two aspects are known as the relative and the ultimate. There's relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. They're never apart. You know, like Lama Michael was talking today about appearance and emptiness, they never are apart. It's like the cart and the, what was it, the truck and the cart, or whatever. The thing that pulls and the other thing never is not, it is never not there. So the relative bodhicitta is more those kind of relative practices. Relative meaning other synonyms are conventional or everyday, what we do in our conventional everyday life. I practice generosity toward you, let's say. And let's say I'm doing it as a conscious practice. I've already passed aspiration where I say I want to do that someday, but I'm actually doing it, okay? Now, that's the relative part. The ultimate part is when I could do that and experience that there is no, what do they call them? The three spheres are completely empty of any solid separateness. The three spheres are me, you, and the giving, in the case of generosity. I can't give if you're not there to be given to. You can't receive if I don't give. It cannot happen if the action isn't occurring. So at least on a minimal level, we can see those dependent things, right? This depends on that. This depends on that. I have to have something to give, right? So on that that's still sort of the relative level dependent. But ultimately is, as Lama Michael was talking today, well, it's impossible to talk about because as soon as we use words, we're moving away from it. But one of the descriptions is no self, no I, no other, no I, no self, no other. So that's the ultimate bodhicitta. Is at any moment seeing every single thing is completely interdependent to the point where you can't find it. You can't find the separateness. It's just so mysterious at this level for me. I can say these things, but it just feels so mysterious. And I think it's kind of nice when it feels mysterious instead of or instead of pushing away or grabbing. Just like, wow, huh. Yeah.
That was my reaction to Shantideva's words. Wow, huh, you know. But you're giving me an idea. If we get beyond self-other distinctions, is there a way in which momentum becomes unimpeded?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And if the momentum is a wish for others, that wish is unimpeded, just keeps going.
It's beyond a wish at that point. They say, I think what you're pointing at a little bit, I'm doing an online study right now with Jeffrey Hopkins on a text from Dzogchen on Buddha nature. And the descriptions are just amazing. But Buddha nature, there's no need for intent or wishes or me or other or activities. It's described as totally unobstructed, spontaneous, radiant compassion and wisdom. So I think it's beyond our words, you know. So as soon as we start talking about it, we make it smaller than it is. Lama Michael said this interesting thing. He hasn't said it for a little while, but I remember it from early on, that he said, Bokhar Rinpoche said to him, to a group of them, words will get you close to the truth, and then they will veer off. Because we just can't help but make the truth smaller and more complex than it actually is. I mean, it's that thing like he said today, you all have experienced emptiness. He says that. He said it today. And I just never know what he's talking about. And I tell him, I haven't. And he says, yes, you have. You just didn't recognize it. So then I think, well, if I didn't recognize it, did I experience it? I don't know. It's mysterious. And I think if we stay open that way to the mysteriousness, and then, as most of my teachers say, as Lama Mai, just do the practice. Just do the practice. We can spend a lot of time on the blueprint, which is what we're doing right now, like what's Buddha nature like and where does it fit? And that's good. But once you get a basic blueprint or map, you've really got to just go step out on the trail and see if there's any cougars or fairies or whatever, you know, because we just don't know. And there's this tension in Buddhism, and it's really present in my experience because I studied with Gelugpas so long, and still do, and they're all about blueprints. You know, it's like, make sure you know where you're going so you don't fall off over here, fall off over there. Oh, don't that one, you can fall there. And they're just marvelous experts at this. And then the Kagyu say, too much concept. Just go straight at it. Just see. And I find both work exceedingly well. And then the Sakyas have a little different, and then the Nyingmas have a little different. There's all these approaches, you know. I think because there's all kind of different people in the world. As Lama Michael said today, some folks really need to do the intellectual thing. And I really needed that for 15 years or so, just going through text after text with my teacher. And you've met her, and you know how she can do that and parse we could spend a half hour on this one paragraph, for sure. And it would be very enlightening, I mean, insightful. But, you know, then Kagyu say, no need for that. Just sit down, read it once, sit down. What do you see? Don't grab anything. Don't push anything away. And I find that incredibly powerful. So we just use these to hopefully eventually experience our true nature. And at that point, there's no our, no other, no my, no me, no you, no. And it all is, the closest I can get of my own experience when, like, Khenpo Lodro Donyo's here, and you watch him day after day, you know, over at Phil and Ingrid's house, or in here, or over there, or at dinner or something. He's just consistently flowing in a very positive, unobstructed energy. I mean, I never saw him go, oh, we got to do this, or get nervous, or nothing. I think that's a little glimpse of it, you know, the way the Dalai Lama moves around, or Pema Chödrön, or The way these folks move around the world, that's a result of their practice. So I will read a long answer to a short question. And I'm sure the Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life is online by now at various places, and there are many translations. Those who wish to crush the abundant mysteries of conditioned existence, who wish to dispel the adversities of sentient beings, and who yearn to experience a myriad of joys, should never forsake bodhicitta. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. I got to stop there because I love that. Because eventually this path, the bodhisattva path, overcomes the sovereignty of death. Death has no more control because there's no fear of it anymore. It's just another transition. It's a little bit bigger transition, but maybe not even. And beings who really practice this path, they look forward to their deaths. I mean, they don't speed it, but they look forward to it as, wow, this is going to be the pinnacle opportunity to engage the clear light of mind and turn it to insight of the nature of mind and become free. That's the teachings, and folks have evidently done it. Or they do what they call go to a pure land where they can practice much easier than we do. They say in a pure land the trees are humming Dharma, and it's just Dharma all day, and rivers run with Dharma, and you're just with happy Dharma practitioners, and you just perfect everything. And then you move on to Buddhahood. Or you become a bodhisattva and return here over and over. Well, it's not an or, because Buddhists can emanate to all kinds. I mean, Buddhists can be 100 people and 29 dogs all at once. I'm making up the numbers, but you know, whatever beings need. It's just, a Buddha just thinks of it and it happens. So, anyway, it sounds like a good thing to be. So it's the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. It's the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. And I think what it's talking about, I'm pretty sure this is the way Venerable taught it, it doesn't mean literal poverty or literal death. It's that your mind doesn't see lack of material goods as a bad thing. I mean, you need enough to eat and such, but generosity would certainly be going all the time. So there'd probably be no one who is starving to death. If all people practice bodhicitta, no one could starve. No one. It would be impossible, because some bodhisattva would insist on taking care of you. So all the poverty disappears. It's the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It's the tree that shelters all beings who are wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. Conditioned existence is where we're conditioned by our afflictions and our obscurations, conditioned into other, me, conditioned into, all the anger, the craving. Those are the conditions of the way our mind is. It's the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. So rebirths are always happy to happy to happy. Moving through the bodhisattva, there's 10 bodhisattva levels. On each one you gain all kinds of powers. And then to the 10th, right up, the next step is full Buddhahood. They're described in many texts. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It's the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. That's so cool. I love that. It's like the sun burns through, and all the fog goes. It's the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. So if you've ever churned milk, you know you end up with butter, the best. So that's Shantideva. He doesn't mess around. Yeah, thanks for asking. That can open up a lot.
So I've heard that there's, I mean, when Lama Michael was talking today about feelings, I had this question: what's the difference between feelings and emotions?
Yeah. Well, what I've mostly heard in Buddhism, but I really had the same question for him today. I'm not sure how he was using it, and I didn't ever get quite clear. But mostly what I've heard it referred to is, in general in Buddhism, when they say feelings, they mean sensations, like your sensations, you know, cold, hard, hot, you know, cool, pain, pleasure. But it seemed more like he was equating it to emotions more. So I wish we could have slowed down at that point. But he was going with other things that I was fascinated with, so I didn't ask. But does anyone else have more clarity about you three were here? I ended up with that same kind of question. But generally, one way to work with it is if we don't try and, I don't want to try and say what he was saying because I don't, what he meant, because I didn't quite get it clear. But is, you know, the 4 mindfulnesses, we talk about that as it's a very basic, really good meditation. You know, start with your body, mindfulness of body. So you sit there, you just be mindful on your body, which is, in a way, sensations like pressure sitting on here, kind of a buzzing in my hands, a little bit of tiredness, you know, what does that feel like? Something through here. So mindfulness of body. Then you do mindfulness of sensations, feelings, sensations. It's hard for me to distinguish those two, you know. But, so I'm not clear on that. And then mindfulness of mind, which is the actual shamatha thing that we do. What's my mind doing? Oh, I wanted it to be on my breath. Now it's thinking about my grandson. Oh, back to the breath. Now it's going, oh, my back hurts right there. Now back to the breath. You know, so mindfulness of what the mind's doing, just seeing it. Not grabbing anything, but seeing this is where it went, now there, now there. And the last one is mindfulness of all phenomena, which is just so huge. But it's kind of opening it from just the individual, my body, my mind, my sensations, to, you know, open the door to everything, you know. So you can work with sensations. I find sensations really helpful to work with when I get in calm abiding. And I'm not saying this is a good thing to do, but I will switch from focusing on the mind sometimes to just literally the sensation on my body. If it's overwhelming me and pulling on me, you know, like, oh, my knee is really doing something, then let's say I've been using the breath, I'll consciously move away from the breath for a little bit. I'll literally go fully attention into that sensation again, no, just like I was on the breath, no judging it. Just going in and seeing. A really good question I was taught is, what's this? What is this? And you're just putting your mind right there, and I'll start noticing, oh, I thought it was one thing called pain. And now I see, kind of hot and prickly. Whoops, that's gone. Now it went there. You just start paying closer attention. And as Lama Michael said today, as soon as we pay close attention to something, what happens? It goes. It's like, where did that go? Now it's somewhere else. So I don't know, was that kind of, I couldn't really answer, 'cause I think I didn't quite totally get what feelings meant. And I'm not sure if he clarified. Did you have a question about how he used them, though? No, just that. Yeah, so all I know is that kind of sensations and emotions being different, but they're so intertwined. If we get an emotion, we often get a sensation, and those are quite good. I was working really a lot the last few months on anxiety and trying to catch it, notice it, before it got big, And what I started seeing was the key to doing that for me was the physical sensation. Before the thoughts started running, it seemed there was a physical sensation, and it was often right here. Some people call it butterflies, or, butterflies in the stomach or something. And I started catching it, especially when I'd be alone in the morning, and I needed to do some kind of, probably go help teach something or something, and start those, and I used to override it, just like, oh, just keep going, no. And that doesn't work so well. And so now I even just try to take even 10 seconds and go, oh yeah, I feel you. I kind of talk to it in myself. I feel you right there. Okay, I'm anxious again. Okay, yeah, anxious. And it's kind of something about having that attitude of slight, kind of acceptance, but not heavy. Just kind of like, okay, here you are again. It really has gone down a lot. I mean, a lot quicker and a lot more than I thought from that. So, who knows? That's more of the Kagyu, like just see it. And when it comes, see it. Don't run away. Don't make up a story. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just here. What is it? You look at it, you can't find it. Where's my anxiety? Where's my anxiety? I think it's right. It's right in between there and there. Oh no, it went there. That's really, I'm kind of making fun, but that really is the process of the emptiness of things. The minute you really, really try to find it, nail it down, you can't. That's the ultimate bodhicitta aspect. Even loving kindness, even generosity, where do you find it? You act generous to someone. Where in that action is the generosity? So that when you think of doing it, you start doing it, you pick something up, you're going to give it, and then they take it. What moment of that is generosity? None of them. But generosity happened. Mysterious. That's how everything is. My teacher used to say, here's the cup. It looks so nice. If it's teetering here and it starts falling, and then it's going to eventually hit the floor and shatter, at which of those moments is it no longer the cup? Is it now? Is it when it's in the mid-air? Is when it first strikes the ground and there's a first crack, the third crack, the fifth? You can't find it. And most people will point at a different time saying, well, it's not the cup in midair because it's already on its way to, no, it's still a cup. No. Well, okay, it's not when it hits. What is that? That's the emptiness of cupness. I think it's fun. Yeah, Makiko.
Today, during the day, and when we were meditating, I was all of a sudden this feeling or emotion or whichever called, but the disappointment, comes up.
Yeah.
So I for some time I was meditating on the disappointment, and then this thought came up, and I'm like, maybe I've been so disappointed on this and that because it did not meet my expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody didn't do something or did something or whatever, but and then my thought went on. I started thinking, okay, so I don't know, it's a very delicate line, but it's this this practice. Well, as a Sangha member, we practice together, and we have the same kind of aspiration, but it's this kind of maybe lonely, or maybe lonely is not a correct way of saying it, but individual, the practice is more you eventually you need to go on individually, because I'm saying this because if there are nobody else, you don't get disappointed. Maybe you're gonna get disappointed yourself, but But then you can only blame you.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, disappointment. Of course, you have your own disappointment, but the disappointment which I felt today was because someone else didn't do this or said this. Or,
You're disappointed in someone else.
Yeah. So in order to avoid this kind of feeling, I don't know, it's we should, or our practice is more focused on, individual basis, so that you don't get disappointed on.
So when you say individual basis, you mean inward to yourself?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm not sure I'm totally getting the question, but let me start with this and you tell me. Maybe a kind of easy way in is no matter what shows up, if you're by yourself, or you're with all kind of other people, or you're blaming yourself, or you're blaming other people, or you're disappointed, or you're happy, all these things will show up. And there's nothing to do with them. You do not need to avoid them. You do not need to think a lot about it. You do not need to push it away. You just notice it. Now, it sounds like you were noticing your disappointment.
Yes.
But then it sounds like you went on a big, long journey with it. Is that right? You kind of went quite a bit.
Yeah.
And if those things show up in calm abiding, that's not the practice. In calm abiding, you just, disappointment. You just feel it. Feel it. Like, what's that like? But you're not making a big story like, oh, I'm blaming, it's because of him, or if he's not here or she's not here, I won't feel this. And if they are here, I'll feel this, so maybe I should be alone, but maybe I should be with people. You see, now we're going nuclear, we're making a big cloud to dance around in. And there's no need, because that's the thing that that some of us say, entertaining ourselves with it. We're getting into it far, far, far too much.
Uh-huh.
Whereas if we just go, disappointment, I see it. Feels like heavy. Now I see I don't want it. Okay, aversion. There's no need to make a big philosophy. And a lot of times, I'm not sure you're asking for this, Makiko, but often people do. They want a formula, like, if disappointment shows up, should I just not think about this other, or should I do this, or should I do that? Anytime we have should I, throw it out. There's no shoulds. None. Zero. No shoulds. It's interesting to live with no should. Do your practice with no should. What was the thing? Oh gosh, Michael said it as soon as we sat down. What was that thing? Oh, he said, your calm abiding is not a platform for struggle. And so you see, when you went to the disappointment, struggles start happening in your mind, right? Should I do this? Should I? Maybe if I'm alone, maybe with people, that's all struggle. So if we see that happening, just drop it. And there are many ways to drop it. One that I really like, that's in one of the early Mahamudra booklets, is by Wangchuk Dorje. It's called Eliminating the Darkness of Ignorance. And he says, I've used this a number of times, especially during one-year retreat. He said, your mind gets all busy like that, and then you just see all that busyness, and you see you're kind of stuck in it. And he would just say, oh, you thoughts, wherever you were going, go there now. And I love it. I don't know why that one worked for me. You thoughts, wherever you were going, go there now. And it's just like taking everything and swiping it off the table for me. It's just like, boom, start over. They're gone. That was just some big old blah, blah, blah. Does that help?
Yeah, I think by listening to you, I just noticed that when the feeling was coming up, I caught it.
Good.
But then I think I started analyzing.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So you see right now, you see that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So then when you're really in it, doing it, when you can catch, I'm analyzing, just say, all you thoughts, get going. Go out the window or wherever. Yeah, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or whatever works for you. I mean, as soon as you see, you can simply, you don't even have to say that, just come back to the breath. That was that, it's gone, this is now. Yeah. Because, and there are types of meditation that are purposely analytical. Like, for example, when we were doing Tonglen, and you imagine friend, enemy, stranger in front of you, we're contemplating analytically then. We're setting things up and seeing what happens. So we are doing that on purpose. That is different from calm abiding. We need to make clear distinctions in our mind when we're doing one or the other. Like today, my mind I told myself, my mind got tired of so much calm abiding. So I just started into a few analytical things that I know help rejuvenate me, like a loving kindness thing or a deity thing or something that I just do for a little while because it kind of lifts me. And then I can come on back because I have energy again. Because I can start feeling the calm abiding get so sleepy and so kind of not energetic. But I try to do that on purpose, knowing I'm doing it. Yeah, instead of just slipping.
Yeah,
into
yeah,
this. Okay?
Yeah. It slipped, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like you see now you slipped into the analysis and it's very interesting to analyze. We can go for hours. But that's no different than, driving your car and analyzing everything, So we try and do this other thing here. Yeah, good, thanks. Good seeing. Anything else, or we could dedicate and end a little early, but I don't want to rush us away. Yeah, Judith.
Just a quick one. Sometimes I get a song in my head over and over. Do you have any particular antidotes for that?
Oh God, I'm laughing because tonight that was happening to me. Oh, was that yours? No, but that one I just laughed. That one I thought was fun, and I could just say, "Oh, listen, when sound goes off, it's pretty easy in a way. You can." Lama Eric told us, ask, "Is that sound inside my mind or outside my mind?" And all of a sudden, it just doesn't matter anymore. It just tricks you. That question tricks you. You start trying to go out in, because there's no in and out. But yeah, I'm laughing because I was doing one tonight, and so it started creeping up. It started really low, like my friend says, on the ticker tape level. That news when you're watching TV or a screen and there's that news thing going across the bottom, but you're watching the main show. Pretty soon you're reading those. And the song started like that. And then I tried just looking at it closer. Like, what is it? What's this song? What are the lyrics? But what is the nature of a song? And just looking at it, and it weakened it a lot. It was really interesting. But the other one I've done, which I'm not sure is very good, but if it's really persistent, then do a different song. And it seems to, the second song seems a lot less interesting than the first one, because the first one kind of came spontaneously, and now you're kind of conjuring one. And it's like, or maybe when you're not very interested in like Ring Around the Rosie, Pocket Full of Posy, like, okay, but it does kind of knock the first one out. And I think there's some less power. And the other one is just do mantra in your head, you know, Om Mani Padme Hum, or yeah, just put a mantra in there with a tune to it, and that can knock it out. I mean, these are all tricks that I've learned from other practitioners and tried. Really persistent ones, I don't know. You just got to look at it, sit through it, maybe watch your irritation rise. What do other people think? I don't know. It's like they can get really bad.
Yeah, mine follow me for days. Oh my gosh, it's coming that to me.
Yeah, and the worst ones are, because I've been at Fred Meyer buying something, and I didn't even know the song was playing, you know, on their music. That really goes in, and you know, you're 5 hours later, you're in your kitchen humming this song you don't even care about, you don't like, and going, where did I hear that? The music at Fred Meyer. So actually, it's a good indication of one of the things we need to do, and I say it, but no one, I think, says it strongly, you know, we got to simplify our lives. If we're going to watch a lot of TV, listen to a lot of songs, go shopping a lot, do these things, it's going to be in there. It's what we've put in there. So the more we can make our lives simple, comfortable, good lives, but simple, the easier practice gets. That's why retreats are great, because you go on a retreat, and I don't mean a year-long one, although that was helpful, but you go on a retreat and you see how simple you can live fine, you know. You don't need a great big house, you don't need all this entertainment, you don't need all this going on. And in fact, when it slows down, you can really see more things about yourself. Some are horrible, some are wonderful. And so you really get this yardstick for, wow, how busy we are out here in the world. So short retreats every year are just so potent. And we'll start being able to have them next fall. We've got some planned for 2018 with Lama Eric out at the 3-year retreat land. Some 1-week things, and also there will be cabins for personal short retreats out there. So we'll be in shape much more after September to offer that. Yeah.
Is there any idea about when another 1-year retreat might happen?
Oh, there's no idea at all. I just say that because the program council is like, no, we're not going to do that for a while. It's a tremendous amount of planning and effort on the part of the whole Sangha to hold folks and not have a place. But we are kicking around ideas like, you know, there's 2 cloisters. People may not know that, but 2 totally separate circles of 6 or 7 cabins, and maybe having one side for kind of open for short retreats during the year and one side maybe longer. These are just ideas we're throwing around. We will not be doing anything like that in 2019, I'm sure. 2018 will be all about the people coming out of 3-year. They'll come out sometime in June, and that'll have a big impact on our Sangha. Not immediate in the sense of people are going to jump into teaching or leading. The guideline usually is, and I don't know what Lama Michael will settle on, but people coming out of a 3-year retreat for the first year do nothing. They don't jump into any kind of leadership. He may change that for certain reasons, we don't know. But that's kind of what the expectation is. And then, but the people will be here, you know, the ones that decide to stay in Portland. That will have a big, I think, very beneficial effect on our Sangha, just to have those folks around. And yes, so we'll just see. So probably not 2018. 18 or 19. And I don't know. I want to do a long one again. I don't want to do a whole year, but I'd like to do something. 6 months would be nice. Yeah, get some more traction. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. And we'll dedicate this merit and give all the credit to others, because they are us, we are them. So who's giving what to who? But we're going to give it away.
By this virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state.
Thanks, everyone. It was very fun. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m., right? All right. Anyone who wants to come, and you can come for any part of that, 9 to 3:30. Yeah, nice to see you, Michael. Hope to see you again.